Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom, and this is Telling Time. Today we're going to be looking at one of the hottest watches of 2019, the Ani-Digi Casioak. This is a GA-2100-1A, and it's the coolest G-Shock ever made in my opinion. I know some of you G-Shock fans are going to disagree with me, but you know what they say about opinions. These watches were selling hotter than your plate at a Mexican restaurant for months on end. I first saw this watch in late 2019, and it wasn't until May of 2020 that I could find one for less than $120, which is still $20 over retail, which I gladly paid. I read a lot and watched a lot of reviews and settled on the 1 Alpha instead of, I think, the Alpha or whatever the blacked out version is, because I really actually wanted to be able to tell time with this watch. But first, let's get a wrist check out of the way. And give me just a sec to get this box out of the way. We won't be needing that. Bye-bye. Today, I am rocking the Zen 50. Fully tegimented case, tegimented bezel. Just an absolutely awesome watch, which I have unfortunately not been able to wear in about a week because I've been testing out the Bambinos for you guys, so public service, right? I am really happy to have it back on wrist, but on to the subject of the day, the Casioak. This watch got its nickname from the slightly octagonal bezel that brings to mind kind of a little Royal Oak offshore feeling to it, and it's a really cool vibe. I'm digging it. It came in that little cardboard box that I had on the table earlier, but that wasn't really very interesting. The interesting part is the case thickness. It is 11.5 millimeters, which is crazy slim for a G-Shock and absolutely awesome. It's probably the biggest selling point for this watch to me. I've never really appreciated G-Shock cases styles until I saw this one, and I decided I had to have it based on just the look from the front and the side. And guys, shockingly, the lady of the house said she actually likes this one. Usually she walks away in disgust when she sees another watch show up in the mail. But she actually wanted to try this one on, so win-win. But tuck in case size, 11.5 mil thick per my measurement. Case diameter is going to be 45, lug-to-lug 48. The strap is 25 coming out of the case, tapering down to 19 down at the buckle. And the buckle is just kind of a nice brushed stainless steel with a rubber retaining loop for the strap excess. The whole thing stays in place really nicely, even while running, hiking, all kind of sports. It's a very well thought out watch. Returning to the dial, you see that we have a really neat day pointer at the 9 o'clock and an LCD multifunction display at the 4 o'clock. This display does have a little light, so it's visible at night, which is handy, and the light will generally light up the hands enough to tell the time, but sometimes it takes you a couple tries to figure it out. And the multifunction display can be cycled through date and seconds, world time, or a second time zone, stopwatch, timer, and alarms. I'm not going to go into learning how to use all the functions. It would just take too long, so we're going to skip ahead to the case back. As you can see, it's typical Casio stainless steel screw down or screw in case back, advertising their new carbon core guard, which is a early 2019 release, I believe, and 200 meters of water resistance. The carbon core guard is going to be really interesting to see how it shapes up in the future, see if it adds significant durability to these watches. Inside the carbon core guard is the 5611 quartz movement, good for plus or minus 15 seconds per month, but I suspect it's going to perform a lot better than that. Let's go ahead and take a look at this watch on my 7.25 inch wrist. As you can see, it wears really well for a 45 millimeter watch. Integrated bracelet and thin case size is really going to help guys with thinner wrists pull this off without being awkward at all. It's super secure. It's 50 grams or just over 50 grams, so you're never going to even feel it's there. I always have to look down just to double check it's still attached. But it wears awesome. It's super comfortable. I love it, and if you buy one, I know you'll love it too. And clearly the rest of the world does, because it's almost impossible to find one for a reasonable price. And speaking of price, I think that Casio has done a disservice to the Lume. It's $120, and the loom, as you'll see here, barely lasted for 10 minutes, and I couldn't see it after 10 minutes. It's not even visible anymore. The loom aside, it is an awesome watch. And I'm going to finish out with a couple macro shots. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Casioak. It was a fun watch to get on camera, plays with the light really well, and I had a great time filming it. If you guys like this content, please subscribe and hit that notification bell for upcoming videos. Comment down below what you'd like to see more of, and last but not least, go ahead and throw me a like. Y'all have a great night.